Are you ready for our next question?
Great stuff. Let's hear it, Vikkey.
So, in our 5 ways to wellbeing, we talk about connecting and how it's so important for our positive mental health. How can I connect with people while I'm moving? And maybe I'm resistant to that because of my body image.
So, body image for many people is a key barrier to them engaging in physical activity and sporting lifestyles. But we have to think about how we can overcome those barriers. And I'd just like to suggest a few strategies that people might just want to think about and reflect upon, just about how they could incorporate physical activity into their lives, and just recognizing that they're not alone in feeling like this about body image. 2/3 of adults across Lancashire are overweight and obese, so a lot of people will be feeling in this situation, and you'll obviously read a lot on social media about why that's a barrier. But there are also some great stories out there about how people have overcome that fear and have just pressed on. They felt the fear and they've engaged with the activity. So if I could just make a few great suggestions of stuff that I've seen work and where people have given me the feedback that it's really worked for them. And it's about the simple changes that we can make on an incremental and a daily basis. So let's just talk about the things that we do every day. Most of us might be traveling to work. We might be going to appointments, including doctor's appointments. We might be going to school and college and university. But the fact is that many of us have got a pretty regular routine. So let's think about if we could potentially make those subtle changes. And we know that some of those changes, as well as benefiting you, they can also do things like a benefit of other people and potentially even benefit the planet. So let's just talk about those changes now. We know that outside having your heating on, your biggest carbon footprint is actually going to be your transport. It's actually going to be going to work. It's going to be going to the shops. It's going to be going on that bus. It's going to be driving that car. Could you cut your transport carbon footprint by 20%? Is that something you might feel good about? Is that something that you might actually be able to tell your friends and your family about and actually say, I'm doing this for the planet? You might be doing it for yourself, but you're also doing it for the planet. So for one of those 5 days, could you walk? Could you walk to work? Could you walk to your appointment? Could you, at lunchtime, rather than drive to get a sandwich, can you go and walk to Morrison's and get that tuna sandwich? Could you actually get the bike out the shed? Could you cycle? Now, those are things that you might have to really think through. I don't know if I could do that today, but you might be thinking, I'm going to work to that tomorrow. And it's really helpful if you start to share with other people your plans and your thoughts, because they're going to say to you, flipping heck, that is a good thing, isn't it? So as well as getting physical active, they're saying good on you. They're actually saying, oh yeah, this person's doing something proactive to help other people in saving the planet and reducing our carbon footprint. Now, that's something which generally people want to acknowledge and support. So there are little strategies like that which you might want to just have a think about how you're going to overcome that. So that's one way. We also talked earlier on about the different clubs across the county and finding clubs where people have got similar bodies to yourselves, whether you're from a different ethnic background, whether you're from a community which has got different requirements in terms of what you wear and how and where you can be seen in public. There are lots of opportunities in terms of that body image and body perception to engage with physical activity. And again, those little bits of research that you can do to find things like the runners who will go, perhaps the all-female runners that will go running at night. the swimming provision that supports people, perhaps who are female-only sessions, the Blokes United sessions that I mentioned earlier on, which are about supporting men who might have excess weight, who might not be used to physical activity. Those are the types of sessions where you're going to feel more comfortable, and people are going to be there like you and want to engage and support you to be physically active. Now, those are great sessions just to do a bit of a Google search and find those opportunities. So what I would say is, you've got that first one about those behavior changes. Can you do something different in your life and kind of slot it in, like the just starting to walk for the sandwich at lunchtime rather than drive? Go and find the clubs and the opportunities like you, and make sure that you reach out to them on social media and see what feedback you get. You know, you can check all that stuff out. They're generally very good at that. And the third one, and I know we discussed this before, there's so much stuff online now which you can do in the privacy of your own home, and things that are low impact, and you can work on at home, things like yoga and dance, and even the high intensity movement. So there's a lot of stuff out there for mums who are looking at improving their levels of fitness, losing that excess weight, staving off the baby blue type scenario after that baby, who are really coming together, little groups. Great group in Burnley, Fit Mums, who are supporting each other to be more active, and people will feel more comfortable in those groups. So it's worth looking for them. Some great stuff out there.
Absolutely. And it's really, really important what you were saying about it's changing the emphasis, isn't it? So the emphasis isn't necessarily for the other people will think, oh, she's trying to get fit. The emphasis is on your carbon footprint, or you're trying to reduce costs and things like that. And actually changing that makes such a difference, doesn't it?
It does. If you look at it through that different lens of, as you say, saving the planet, and you tell people about that, if you are very clear to yourself, yes, if I'm not going on the bus or I'm not driving the car, I am saving money here. That means I can give myself a treat in another area of my life, or put some money towards whatever you need it to do. So those goals and those aspirations really help fuel that behavior change. But the important thing is that however lacking in confidence you are, you've got to think practically about fitting it into your lifestyle. Because let's be honest with you, anybody can press the button and buy a gym membership or order those new trainers on Amazon. The fact is, you've actually got to, right, how is this going to work for me? Who's going to support me on this journey? How am I going to be able to ensure that I keep this up over the long time, and it just doesn't become something that I do once when I have a week off on holiday or something like that?